What is up, guys? This is Wild Rocker. Today, my character discussion is going to be about Sonya motherfucking Blade. And that is because in my last video, I gave a hint about its combat time. And obviously, MK fans are going to know, obviously, it's Sonya. Obviously, right? So a lot of people are like, well, what the hell does combat time mean? Well, combat time was kind of like a trademark sentence, that she would say before battle or going into battle, and it was just kind of like her own unique, sentence, and it was way back in the comic book, days, and it was also in the old cartoon series. And even had a reference in Mortal Kombat 9 in the Challenge Tower. I think it was like 200 and something. I can't remember the exact number because, I mean, come on, there was like over 300 fucking challenges. So, anyways, yeah. So, combat time, it was definitely Sonya Blade. So, let's talk about Sonya Blade. Okay. Now, I know I was going to save it for earlier in the video, but I was just like, all right, we'll dig into it right now because a lot of people are like, we really want to know, So, I was like, all right. So, a lot of people wanted me to talk about this in particular first, and that is what the fuck happened between her and Johnny Cage. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, you guys knew that we were going to talk about that. I mean, what the fuck, Like, I mean, yeah, I get it. I get that, they kind of had like a, not like a love-hate relationship, but she really didn't really give a fuck about Johnny at all. Like, I mean, ever really. I mean, she was a smart ass to him. He would try to, win her over by, giving her compliments or saying, hey, good work, And she'd be like, fuck you, Cage. And he'd be like, all right, And he was her bitch. I mean, come on, he was her bitch. And he would try all the fucking time, trying to at least, give her a compliment or, trying to flirt with her or take her out to a date, or anything, even all the way up to Mortal Kombat 9. And it's just like it never worked. So what the fuck happened? Like, this is what I really want to know, especially in MKX's story, is what the fuck happened between Sonya and Johnny that gave birth to Cassie Cage. I mean, yeah, I know how it happened, guys, but I'm saying what caused it to happen. Somebody's like, well, maybe they got drunk one night. I'm just like, fuck it, But I don't know, I mean, what's your guys' thought? Did she finally cave in? Was she desperate? I know it's not really funny to talk about, but I mean, come on. I mean, Sonya is like one of the most brutal bitches in Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about the assassins either. I mean, each female is brutal in her own way. Shiva. Yes, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Shiva, really? But yeah, come on, Shiva's brutal. Melina's brutal in her own way. Katana, even though she's a princess, she can be fucking brutal and lethal. And many others, like Tanya, Serena, all of them. And, the reason we say that Sonya is probably one of the most, or the most, one of the first of brutal, is because she was the only female in Mortal Kombat 1. In that whole sausage fest of Mortal Kombat 1, she was the only female. And I mean, seriously, unless you're counting Shang Tsung morphing into her, which that really doesn't count, otherwise he'd be a little tranny, but I'm just kidding. But, seriously, like, what the fuck happened? And why was she the only female in Mortal Kombat 1, Like, have they thought about any others, Like, we didn't know at the time. Obviously, we do now because we got a shitload of female characters. So it's like, what happened between her and Cage? And, is she still going to have an appearance in Mortal Kombat X at all? Like, even in the story, at least. Because Ed said, past relatives of certain characters in this game are going to be a little bit older, as time progresses. And probably throughout the story of Mortal Kombat X as well. So it makes me think, is this going to be one wrinkly bitch? Is Johnny Cage going to be an old fart still rocking the shades? And is Cassie going to be in her prime time since she's, brand new and 25 years old? It could be. But, we never know. She could, I mean, in the story, it could start off as, their normal, age as for Sonya and Johnny. And, later down, and Cassie was a baby at the time, and as the years progress, she starts to become like a teenager and then a young adult and then an adult. And then, we see her in her prime time of, what she is now on the roster. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like, what the hell? So, a lot of people have been talking about with her costumes too. I mean, she was rocking the whole like sports looking, outfit with the green, the white, and the black colors. From MK1 all the way to MK Trilogy, I think, if I recall, or actually even MK4. Sorry, and even a little bit back in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. But then they kind of like swayed her into a more military, kind of look. I mean, she had, I think it was a beanie, I think it was, or a beret. I'm sorry, and was rocking the whole, official, like, military, outfit. And I mean, it showed that she definitely has some dominance and authority. So she's not really a bitch that you would really like to fuck with. Um, so it makes me think, what do they got planned for her outfit in Mortal Kombat X? Because like in Mortal Kombat 9, we didn't see no, like jumpsuit, green, black, and white jumpsuit, and we didn't see no kind of like military outfit either. Except, I mean, if you're counting her alternative costume. But even then, it kind of looked like something that she'd wear at a beach wear. She looked like she was like on duty as a lifeguard or something. But as for her main look, it was kind of like most people were kind of pissed and kind of happy at the same time. I mean, you're getting half and half, because like some people were pissed because, oh, she shouldn't be wearing high heels. She's a military woman. She needs to wear boots. And, we've seen her wear boots since, God, like, Jesus, I mean, for a while, I mean, if it wasn't that, it was regular, tennis shoes, way back in, like, Mortal Kombat 1, the Mortal Kombat trilogy. And, I mean, it's not bad that she's wearing boots, or that she is wearing boots. I think in her alternative costume, she is wearing boots. I cannot remember. But I know for a Prime outfit, her main costume, that she is wearing boots, and she's kind of got like a biker, kind of black, dark looking outfit on. And a lot of people were kind of excited about that, and some were, kind of disappointed because they wanted her, military look. And as a fan, a lot of people are like, well, what kind of look would you like for her to see Wild? And I'm just like, I didn't mind the look that she had in MK9. And I didn't really mind the whole military outfit, like such as the one that you see above. Like, yeah, we got the cameo pants and the boots and whatnot, but not overly done like we seen in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. With the whole like it looked like general outfit with a beret and all that. It was just like I'm pretty sure she would get too sweaty in that and want to take it off. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, I'm just saying that, it's not really the right wear to, be wearing in a fucking tournament of fighting, and killing, I mean, ruin your shit, So, I mean, I wouldn't fucking, I wouldn't fight in that, and that would just be kind of dumb. But anyways, as for her look back, in Mortal Kombat 1 and even all the way up to Trilogy and even MK4 and even in Shaolin Monks, like in this picture above, I actually liked it. If there was a way that they could actually mix like the jumpsuit kind of look with the military look but not make it look too tacky or too ugly, I think that'd be great. But, how would that work exactly? I mean, I really have no idea, unless they change the camouflage of her army pants, into like a black, white, and green look. Even like it's still got military bases, but still got the basic jumpsuit colors. But I don't know. But anyways, if I had to choose a look for her in MKX, if she was to be in, I would definitely probably choose something similar, not identical, but something similar to Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks version of her. I thought it was really nice and really, really well done. And a lot of people are like, well, she should be in if her daughter's in, and the same with, Cassie's father, Cage, he should be in too. And, I really don't think that that's going to happen. I mean, I could be wrong, but I really don't think that's going to happen because you figure this is a whole new generation and they're not going to put her whole family in the roster. Now, that's just my thoughts. I could be totally wrong. And, yeah, I mean, maybe they could, but I'm assuming, at least in the story mode, we'll see them, no doubt. But as for actually playing as them as a playable character, I highly doubt it because, I mean, we have Cassie now. And the whole point of this game is, something new, something fresh, something exciting, and something entertaining that we haven't seen before. And, as Cassie, being a new character and the daughter of, Sonya and Cage, that's something we've never seen before. And a lot of people, even though if they are fans or not fans of Sonya or Cage or just fans of one or the other, it definitely sparks some attention on what the fuck happened and exactly how did that happen, after, 25 years after the tournament. And I'm curious too. So, as what the fuck happened with that, And in Mortal Kombat X, if she was to be in, if Sonya Blade was to be in, would she still have beef with Kano? And that makes me think. Now, a lot of people are saying, in a couple of my messages a while back, that Kano's actually, and this could be a spoiler alert, guys, but I'm not too sure on this. But it could be that Kano is actually working with Quan Chi, instead of Quan Chi working with Shinnok. Now, maybe that's because of the time alter that Raiden had in Mortal Kombat 9, or it's just a different approach. I don't know. But that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's just, some rumor or if it's just a myth or anything like that. But if she was to be in, okay, I mean, or, okay, I'm sorry. If she wasn't to be in, would she still have beef with, like, would Cassie still have beef with Kano? Because it's like a whole new generation, so to say. So, does her daughter hate Kano too? Because, I mean, we've seen the intros between Kano and Cassie, and it's just like, okay, there's definitely some beef going on there. Is it because of what her mom's been through that pisses her off? Which I would understand why, but I mean, is this like a not a retelling, but is this like a and a rivalry? Even, past Sonya and Johnny Cage, like, even it's all the way down to her daughter now, and it's like facing Kano. So do you think that would go down as for the story, maybe? I could see it, I mean, fuck. I don't really think Cage had any beef with Kano unless he was fucking with Sonya or, protecting the Earth Realm. Other than that, they really didn't have any, like, relationship as for that. But Sonya and Kano, I mean, they've had a relationship. Even though they hate each other, they have had a relationship between each other all the way, since Mortal Kombat 1. And they hate each other to the point of, wanting to kill one another. And, it's just like, wow, that rivalries last so long. I mean, but then again, I mean, we've seen so many rivalries in Mortal Kombat. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, Frost and Sub-Zero. Onaga and Shao Kahn. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. Moloch and Drama versus Quan Chi. I mean, there's been tons of rivalries. There's been people that would team up and then backstab one another. So, anything's possible. I do like her movesets for Cassie Cage in this one, and it just makes me think that, I don't really think Sonya's going to be in, but it is still possible, and it's not like we're rolling her out. It's just some people highly think that she won't be in just because her daughter's in, but that's the only proof we got, and that's not really proof at all. Because that doesn't mean that we could still have Johnny and Sonya in the game as well. So we could have the whole damn family. And it makes me think, is that the only child they had? Yeah, we haven't seen anything else. Okay, guys, we haven't seen anything else because they haven't confirmed anything in a while. But maybe they had a little son. Maybe they had another daughter. Maybe they had a shitload of kids, and Pop Goes the Weasel, it was one hell of a night between Cage and Sonya, So it makes me think, do they just have one child? Does Cassie have a brother, a younger brother, or an older brother? I mean, the speculations are just absolutely crazy. And I'm pretty sure that not only them, between Cage and Sonya, had a daughter. I'm pretty sure someone else in the franchise or in the story of Mortal Kombat that, had relatives coming in, like, okay, shit's about to get real, and they had their relatives come in, or their uncles, or their nieces and nephews, cousins even, and this has been confirmed by Ed Boon that there's gonna be more than just Cassie Cage being a daughter of Cage and Sonya. So, a lot of people were actually speculating, or, rumor, it was a rumor that I think died down because it doesn't seem really possible, but something about Baraka and Melina actually having a child and, seeing what that would look like. Now, I think that was just rumors and speculation, like I said, but we haven't had any proof of that actually being, confirmed or anything. But I don't know why, but I just have a random feeling that I think a Reptile is going to be in. And I think, there might be some reptilian race of his. And I think, like, we might see a different reptile. Not the same reptile that we always known and love. But I think that we're going to see, like, a different, like, relative of him. Like, maybe an uncle or his dad or his, son even. That'd be some crazy shit. And, you know, same with Scorpion. A lot of people were thinking that this comic book character by the name of Forrest Fox is actually Scorpion's, you know, brother or, you know, son, you know, or something like that. So there's definitely going to be a lot of family-related shit in Mortal Kombat X. I guarantee you there's going to be that. So, anyways, this is Wild Rocker, and I'll see you guys next time. In my next video, I think I'm going to do a person that was related to Quan Chi. Not related, but was known with Quan Chi. See you guys next time in the next video. Peace out.